Welcome, Subhashini. Thanks for participating in this and reading and reviewing. I appreciate your time and effort. And let's hear what you have to say about the short story that you're going to read. You have read and you're going to review. Is it My Mother is a Feminist?
Correct. That's the story I have.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Jayanti, for this very unique opportunity. We just hear about written reviews, but a video review is even more fun, I think. My Mother is a Feminist. When you asked me to choose between the stories, the title itself was very intriguing to me. And I believe as a mother, I am a feminist. So all the more I wanted to read the story. So I'm going to review it in two different perspectives, one as a reader and one as someone who also writes. So as a reader, I'm filled with emotions as I read the story, because it was very relatable in a sense, and this in the whole aspect of wanting to be a feminist mother. And also, there is a very nice contrast that comes into play in the story, which keeps you gripped in between the character who are young boys, Davai and Ravi, and then the mother, and as well as Sally, because that contrast is what comes where the emotions comes out for me, in terms of you want to take the mother's side, but you also understand a 14-15-year-old boy's emotion and his first experience with, a mature woman falling for her, and also being influenced by these superstitions of the oil and, whatever it might be. And I love the setting of street food and, elderly couple playing around him. It just creates a very nice background of, I'm assuming, either a Malay or Singapore city. So it is a very nice, it got me, because of these emotions and these conflicts between characters, it kept me gripped throughout there. Like I read it in one sitting. I didn't have to, it's a short story, of course, but even a short story can cause lack of interest, but it never felt like that. And it made me cheer for the mother most in this as a reader, because she showed so much gumption in her character. She was there for her child, as well as was able to communicate her stance. So those were the emotions I felt as a reader reading it. As a writer, I think I want to focus first on the character and then talk about other things. Characters, I think there is the character of Davai goes a little bit of an up and down, where he respects his mother so much, but it's still conflicted in the emotion he feels for this older woman of Sally. And I think his emotion is overclouding his character as someone who could actually understand the profession Sally got herself in, instead of tattletaling her to her daughter. And the mother's role is pivotal here. What I left with a bit of a confusion is the ending, because this conflict plays on so much during the entire story, and then the ending is almost like a hook. I felt a bit confused, or maybe wanting more, because I thought there would be a redemption of either of the characters. Maybe a mother who's so strongly feminist and puts her lack of judgment of a woman's profession over her son's dilemma and strong, he seems to be in a very low state, but she still put that in ahead of her son's needs. I felt like there might have been some kind of redemption to Davai's character in the end that would have at least appeased me as a reader or writer. The hook left me wanting more, I guess. Like I said, the backdrop and the setting is very nice. And the language is also maybe a Gen Z language with, usage of things like hand, like his friend hand, and then apostrophe "der." So it like combines words. So that was also very interesting to see as a writer. And what I liked also is sometimes in short stories, you introduce characters and then you don't realize what their purpose is. But Ravi here seemed to have a purpose in the sense that he was also a young boy, but he was an inner voice almost, where you can choose to blame any of these oils or any of these black magics for our own prejudices, which I thought was a very nice symbol. He was a very nice symbolification of that, like a personification of that, sorry. So that was very interesting. And even Sally's character, she comes in only a few lines, right, on the phone call. But it served as a very good backdrop to tell us that they are women, they are feminists as well. So that was very good. And as writers, you give these hints, right, of the character. So I like that the mother is watching Hillary Clinton. So it shows that it's not just in the way that she tries to raise her child, but it's also is a way of life for her and what she watches and what she believes in. So those were the character bits. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the language also, because the language serves very well to the speed of reading, to keep up the tempo and tone. And it reflects both characters in terms of the Gen Z using some nicknames or swear words, and then the mother wanting to her balanced and mature language, and also saying, oh, you just must be hungry, that's why you are suffering from these emotions. So the language plays a very important role in reflecting the person's age group or their mental state. Again, when from a writer perspective, it is the ending that got me hooked as well as confused, I would say. Maybe that was the intent, I don't know. But I felt like such a strong feminist mother could have slightly turned the perspective of her boy in a way towards the end, if it was possible. Because one is to be feminist yourself, but one is raising boys as a feminist is another challenge. I have a son myself, so I want him to be okay with women wearing shorts and bikinis, and also women being clad in burqa, because it is the woman's choice, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that would have been a very solid, punchy ending for me. But it's just me seeing as a writer. And last is I wanted to talk about the plot. Plot generally comes first, but as a reader and writer, I love characters and analyzing them. So that's why I talked about that first. The plot is beautiful. It's simple. It's clean. And there is, I think there's a climax in the way that he talks to his mother. A climax and an anti-climax comes into play in the sense that she supports him, understands his emotions, but also challenges him to think about that woman's profession and what her situation might be. And then the slight climax, anti-climax, you want to call it, towards the ending, where if I think your own prejudices might come into play, if I had believed in superstitions or black magic or oils, I would have said, oh no, that woman might have poisoned this young boy. But I feel I don't believe in those things. So my conclusion is that the boy still, his prejudices has still overcome him, and he thinks that oil is the cause of his voracious appetite, whereas it is his own prejudices that is causing that. So that's my short and sweet review of the story. I loved it. It was very unique, very, very unique, but has a message underlying in it.
Yes.
And I love the title as well. My mother is a feminist. So.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Subhashini. Let me try responding to certain things. You said the ending. Yes. Mother raising a child. First of all, the boy is not too young, like not 14. And it comes in the in the story, it is 23 to 24. Mother is scolding him. You're not the child anymore.
Okay.
That's there. So that is one thing, which means he's almost an, I mean, boys age slower.
Okay.
So that
Yeah.
way he's an adult, yet also an adolescent still, something like that, right?
Yeah.
This Ravi character was there when the incident happened. That is one thing. The other is that he's a close friend of his, and therefore he has a purpose in the end, of course, the dialogue. Coming to the end, let's talk about the background first. The prejudice, you said. Yes, in a sense, that boy is trying to find some reason to justify what he did or ended up doing even without knowing, and later he's now wallowing in depression, right?
Yeah.
And such a confused state, any reason is good for them. They grab it.
Yes.
The boy may not even believe so much in all that.
Yeah.
But when he is confused and depressed, any reason is happy. He holds it. Right? That is one thing. As for in the story, it is Ravi and Dawai. They are talking about this oil, right? The palm oil, right? So it's not even mother who says. In fact, mothers insist that you better face the facts. Don't keep on trying to look for a reason. She says that. So, and a mother, you will know it. Your children are growing. You will know it. That the child rearing or bringing up a child, even when the child is 30, 40, you will know. My children are in 30, right? They're 30. I'm going to see, I don't know how long I'll be alive, but from what my mother used to say, 50 or 60, they are children. When they see the mother, they will behave like a child only. The child comes out. That is one thing. That way, the moment he sees his mother, the hunger is more. Imagine an infant. We have all had infants in our hands and in a nursing. The moment the baby is after some time, suppose we are leaving the baby with someone and we come back, the moment the baby sees the mother, even though he is not actually hungry, he will think of milk.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't go away, even into adulthood, especially for the boys.
Right.
For girls, it's different, a little different at least, right? That's one thing. Okay, for the ending, I was about to tell you, it goes on and on, how we rear the boys or how we bring them up and how we, not say counsel them, advise them, but off and on through their growing up. We are there, right? But is there an end to it? This particular story is more about that bringing the growing boy. This side mother is walking along with that growth.
Yeah.
Is there an end? Is there a concrete end to it?
No.
So the story cannot have an end to it. Just as an incident, we're talking about an incident there. And that incident has created some kind of an impression, depression in him, confusion as well. And he's ready to hold on to something. And another thing, Southeast Asia, especially even in Singapore, people believe in all these. Whatever we call them, like superstition or supernatural, they believe so much in them. And so Chinese believe in ghosts and these oils and things. So black magic and all. But as an author, or sorry, as a person in the story, I'm not favoring them. Neither am I talking against them.
True.
So it's a neutral, yes.
Yeah.
I was not talking those two, Ravi and Dave.
Yeah.
So this kind of a boy growing up, you know, and mother walking along with his growth cannot have an ending until Dave turns 50, 60. She might be frail in her 80, 90, right? That cannot have an ending.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting
Isn't
perspective.
it?
Yes.
I mean, this I suddenly, after you said you were talking about the ending, I thought, can this have an ending? Then I thought it cannot, because and such an open end would
No,
suit.
it was a very good hook. The open ending was
Yeah,
an excellent.
because if at all I'm going to give a concrete ending, as in the boy is getting to realize something, or the
Yeah.
mother is succeeding in putting some real thought into his head, something like that,
Correct.
which rarely happens. Life is so flawed. Let's reflect what is life. So that way, yes, that's one thing. Thanks for
Yeah.
reading so well.
Oh, thanks.
Mother not wanting to be a feminist, she is a feminist,
Yeah.
because she loves her son so much, and
Yes.
yet she's
It
able
still
to
puts.
talk for Sally,
Yeah. Correct.
and that irritates him,
Yeah.
because he has only seen her love, unconditional love on
Yeah.
him, and
Yeah.
when that is disturbed, she's going towards Sally, he's irritated, he's really angry, right? That is one. And like you have really pointed out very well, there are conflicts between Sally, Dave, mother, and
Yeah.
of course, Dave, Ravi, which is very
Yeah.
subtle,
Yeah.
saying in the psychologist clinic,
Mm.
when he says he only has a depression, this
Mm.
guy, yeah, that dialogue is between them.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, three conflicts, yes. Emotions overloading Sally. Emotions of Darwin, overclouding Sally's side. That's what I think you
Yeah.
said.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. But this boy is too young. As in too young, not say too young in that sense. 23 is a good age. But
Oh, I thought 15, 16. I don't know why,
no,
because I thought
yeah,
Sally is 30 and he's 15 years younger or something. Maybe I did
no,
the wrong.
no.
Yeah. So then 20 is
Because Sally's
golden.
daughter is 19.
19. Yeah.
It comes
Right,
in
right.
that.
19. Oh, yes, yes. Okay.
This guy is 23. Mother is scolding him. You're not a child. You're going to be 23. There's a
Oh,
dialogue.
okay, okay,
So
okay.
for that age, of course, the boy knows, and the
Hmm.
boy didn't want to do what he did
Yeah.
because they made him drunk. Something happened, and
Correct.
that also is justified. It's not as if he wanted to do that,
Yeah.
but in the end, he is falling for that. He wants to be with Sally forever. So that is the confusion. So immature, and mother is
Yes.
scolding him, right? Well,
Yeah.
this one is my son's friend.
Hmm.
He is actually Young. That guy's name is. I gave Davedan. So
No.
yeah. So my son brought that story. They had a fight at home, mother and son. I didn't get anything other than that.
Okay.
That mother actually was emotional, saying, how could you do? How could you do? That's all she could do. She was crying. But
Oh.
I took it and I thought, what's happening? The boy's side, another friend's side, the Sally side,
Yeah.
and the mother, if she were a feminist, how will she think if she were, if no?
Yeah.
So that's how the story came about. And yeah, many people liked it. In fact, Subhashini,
Yeah.
many liked that open-ended the hook.
Oh, okay.
They said, Luckily, you didn't give a. I remember I talking to two reviewers. Luckily, you didn't give something concrete there. It would have read unnatural or something. I remember someone saying that, and but you said you wanted more. That is good, no?
Yeah, wanting more is always good, right?
It's
Yeah.
also good in a way. So
Yeah.
redemption, there is no redemption. There can only be a
There is not.
process towards some kind of transformation and late realization, then slowly sinking in the words of mother. That's how things happen in real life. I've noticed also bringing up two sons. It's not so easy to. My
No,
sons and
not
myself, we talk everything. Now I don't have my menstruations, but the times when I used to have, my younger son especially, he's very talkative. The elder one also talks such things, but this guy, PMS, you don't look well. You look so
so sweet.
dull. PMS, he will ask me, even when he was 11, 12.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I used to talk everything and anything. And so they know everything. So in fact, even though we talk so well, even though I put in so much of thoughts of, respecting women, especially their, dressing and physical, those things, of course,
Yeah.
obviously we will. But the thought process in them,
Yeah.
you get to know what they will be thinking, because they don't have a sister. So I have more to tell, right? So I do tell. But how much ever you tell, the DNA will play its role, right?
Yeah.
I can't be putting up my collar saying I have done my best. I have put all thoughts into them. No, no.
Yeah.
If they are okay 9 times, 9 instances, at one instant without their knowledge, something, and I can catch their words, their thoughts, and when I do, you are too much. Why do you go so deep into it? But you have to, so that you know how a woman in future, you will know how a woman thinks, right? So that's how.
Yeah.
So that way, this is an endless mother-son is an endless thing. Therefore, I ended it
That way. No,
that way.
makes sense. I
Yes,
think in real life you recognize that it is endless.
it
Uh,
is.
you want it somewhat in a story. So
Normally my works are open. I
yes,
don't give.
I know, I've read them. Yes.
You have?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've read other stories in the Dangling Gandhi as well. The
Oh,
title Dangling Gandhi short story. Yes, I've read it.
I didn't know. I didn't know you read it.
Yeah,
Okay,
you had
okay. Thank you.
sent it to me before. So yes, I have.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay. Yes, I believe
But a very beautiful story, Jayanti. Very nice.
thank
You
you
had
so
me
much.
at the title itself. So
Oh yes, the title I didn't get the title actually for very long. How should I
oh,
get? Yes, I didn't get it because it's Dave's story,
correct.
but at the same time, when I keep on thinking about Dave, his journey in the story, his experience, and what to give, you know.
Yeah.
Then I thought, let this be the story. And in fact, the story happened to be talking about that undercurrent all the time, the mother's feminism. So I thought, let it be like my mother is a feminist.
It's lovely. It's a lovely title.
So thank you so much for your time and effort
Thank you,
for
Jayanti. Thank you
trying.
for
Yeah.
offering your perspective.
Yes.
As an
Yeah.
author, it's always so fun to understand what goes on in our minds. So lovely to hear.
Yes, yes, yes. True, true. And thank you again. We'll meet again in some platform, somewhere,
Yes,
some
definitely.
project. We will keep meeting. And good luck. Good luck to
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, Jayanti. Yeah.
Have a nice
Take care.
day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank
Okay, sure.
Hello, Sriram. welcome to the international webinar series. Thanks for your time and effort and agreeing to read and review. It's a pleasure. I'm getting to hear what you say about your story. I think your story is, what's your story? I forgot. My mother is a feminist.
My mother,
Yes.
feminist.
Yes. And let's hear what you have to say.
So I read it. Obviously, when I started reading it, I understood it's set in, I guess, in Singapore. Is that right? Yeah, because I could make out from like the names of the people. So immediately I tried to connect to the culture of the people there, the way, the style of speaking there. I've never read a story, that's really set in like Singapore or in those Asian countries, because most of the books I read are usually in the US or in the UK. So that was my first thing. I started reading it and I tried to connect to the characters. And I mean, I know it's a short story, so it was, easy to follow, easy to understand. And yeah, so I liked the kind of flow of it, of Dawe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, of the main character.
Dawe, yes.
He tries to, call this person Sally, tries to make a connection with her. She keeps, like scolding him, saying, no, leave me alone. And then how there is like some interlude of, how he had some party or something with his friend. And then, how he goes home and wants food from the, asks his mother to prepare for him. And I think the rest of the story is an interaction between him and his mother, and how he tries to kind of not exactly complain, but try to get her to side with him, that this lady is not treating me right. I did all this for her. She's not responding, and but his mother is, well, she's after all his mother, but she's also a woman. She understands. She's not, just because he is her son, she doesn't immediately support him. She wants to be on the right side. So I think that's, in my opinion, I think that's where the title, like, a feminist, comes from. Even though she is his mother, she's still a feminist. It's, she's supporting whatever profession that this Sally is doing, and it's her right to do that. And you can't, as a guy or another person, can't like speak ill of that or speak down to her, because then she's not like your property or whatever. So I think she acted like a, like a proper human being, and tried to set him straight. And then the end about that oil or something that he was using, that was like kind of a nice ending to it. So yeah, I kind of like the flow of it, and the fact that the interaction between Dawe and his mother. I think that was probably the meat of the story. That was really the good, the part that I enjoyed most reading. So, and other than that, yeah, I like the language of it. It is very unique to me, because the style, the slang as well, the colloquialism, that that is something I have never read before. So obviously, as you know trying to get in, trying to understand the way those characters speak and interact was definitely unique. So that kind of put me in the mind of those local people that in that city, whether it's in Singapore or even it's like a village in Asia, for example, right? That's the way I was trying to picture it. Anytime I read a story, I try to picture those characters in front of me. What are they doing? uh, Especially when there are no pictures. Like, as a kid, I used to read books with pictures. Right? I think most of us used to do that. You would always have a picture to accompany. And then as we got older, those books became bigger, but the pictures almost disappeared. So, but I still have the habit of trying to picturize what I'm reading. So every line, every paragraph I read, I was trying to picture this Dave character. How does he look like? Now, obviously, not everything is described, right? A lot of it is left to our imagination. So I try to imagine how that character is. Is he, since he's got a mother, I'm imagining he's kind of like a youngish fellow. He's not really that old, but he's still living with his mother, apparently, or his mother is living with him. So I imagine him as a young character who is maybe, kind of a little bit loose, doesn't really have an aim in life, doesn't really, have a proper job, a proper kind of profession, and is, but he's very close with his mother, right? And obviously in a lot of Asian cultures and Asian families, it's the bond between parent and child is a lot closer than we see in the West, for example, right?
Yes.
Usually parent lives with the child or vice versa. So that is very obvious to see there. And it was good. It was good. And when I was picturizing it, I was trying to picture how the interaction played out. This looked like something that was not happening for the first time. Although I am reading this for the first time, there is no way that this would have. It is definitely these interactions would have happened before to Dabe and his mother. I'm sure he would have had similar complaints. She would have scolded him before. But as a reader, it's fresh to me. Right?
Yes.
This is the first time I'm reading it, so I can try to picture the mother like very tired, irritated with her son. Obviously she still loves him, but it's kind of like a repetitive thing that's happening, where his son does something like this, comes and complains to her. He asks, hey, please cook me your meal, cook me food, and she begrudgingly does it for him, even though uh, he needs, he kind of needs to be told off. You can't, talk like this about other people. She's still his mother, right? End of the day. So I was trying to picture all that, because I think all of us have lived something like this, right? Where we may do something wrong, but our, parents still loves us at the end of the day, and they want to do, things for us. So that relationship was really, I was trying to put faces to those people and see what trying to imagine what their expressions would be like when I was reading it. So yeah, I mean, I think in a nutshell, that was probably like my thoughts about the story. Yeah.
So I can say that the Eastern culture, they have it in Eastern culture that the child and mother living under one roof, even an adult, he's a young adult, right? So he could, but it's very common in East, right, in the Asian. And yes, it is set in Singapore, ultra modern metropolitan Singapore. But the Eastern or Asian mindset is different from the West. As in, this guy, whatever he has done and he has come, it's for him, it was the first time. What happened was, it was his first time, and he thought it was going to be all his life. Whatever Sally made him feel, that feeling and the experience, he wants it to be permanent in his life. That is very childish, immature way of. She's so elder to him. And he wants at least the friendship. And such a depression is leading him to become more and more hungry. So, and yes, mother cooking for son is very common in the East. It's, language, you said, yes, I go for simple language. My works are always simple and no frills, no gimmicks, straight, whatever is required. So that way, and of course, slang and all, once we decide to, when I decide to write about India, the setting is India, then of course the slang, a little bit of that comes. And since I'm here living in Singapore for 34 to 35 years now.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Obviously,
it's like second nature to you almost. You probably hear it fairly often.
But for readers, when they get to read, especially when they are not familiar with Singapore or this part of the world, then for them it's fresh, yes. And like you said, the conversation between the two must have happened even before, yes, very true. And that's why that flow is beginning, bang on. She says, she keeps on saying, this is not right. And so they are like good friends and mother and son. But again, when you said this must have happened even before, I thought such an argument must be common in many households also, right? Right?
Yes.
Such an argument in that sense.
Yeah, it could be a different reason for the argument, but end of the day, I can imagine this definitely he would have argued. He may have done something else.
Yes.
And she comes and complains and cook for me. He asks his mom, and
that's
something
right.
similar may have happened. Yeah.
But the palm oil and all is superstition based, and this part of the world, Thailand onwards, this side, especially in Singapore, the superstitions are there, and they also believe in supernatural elements and things. So so this guy, he is trying hard to find a reason for his feeling or a reason for his doing. He keeps on finding a reason outside, and mother says, you find it inside first, then you'll feel calmer. And this oil is another reason that he's the friend and him they come up with. Other than that, it's all open-ended. As you can see, we're not concluding it there.
Correct.
They both are thinking it is because of that.
Because of the
but narration is not saying that. Author is not saying that. Because I leave it to the reader to think beyond. I mean, how this must have gone and things. And this guy, since he feels Sally is avoiding, he wants to tell on her to her daughter. Remember? So these are typical of a confused guy. So basically, my mother is a feminist. This happened to my son's friend.
Oh, okay.
Son's friend who came, who happened to know another guy. So that's how I came to know such a thing happened. That guy is confused and all. So I just got to know 1 or 2 lines from my son. That guy is going through that something. Then I, of course, I built on it. How it could have been, how he must have been at home, what his mother would have talked up. So that's how I imagined and brought this. I wanted a male reader to read this, mainly because here the mother is talking feminism to a man, a young adult, a guy. Yes. So basically, that's why I wanted and I got to know from Shalini, you will be interested. And thanks for that. And otherwise, you're free to ask me if you have any questions on this story or our discussion.
So how did my question is, how did you come up with the title? My Mother is a Feminist? And the reason for asking is, nowhere in the story it's kind of obvious that she's a feminist, but she doesn't say that. She shows it through her actions.
That's right.
And the way she speaks.
I didn't have a title first. I left it for very long months. It was there lying. I wanted a proper title, a catchy one. And one day I heard 2 people arguing in the bus somewhere. I couldn't even see them. You are a typical feminist. Some guy was telling her something. And that woman, when I looked back, she looked elder to him, either elder sister or some aunt or something. They had some argument. I don't know what argument they had before boarding the bus. You are a typical feminist. And she said, so, and something like that. And I thought, yeah, these 2, David and mother are, they are arguing over something, and she's displaying her feminism there. So she's a feminist. Let it be so. And when I came up with that title, I thought, here, someone is a feminist. There are many feminists, and it's nothing big. My mother is a feminist. Any mother is a feminist, we all know. My mother is a feminist. That's the uniqueness I got through this title, but which I get, like I said, I got it from some, in the bus.
Okay, you heard it, you got inspired by that, and you thought, okay, the title seems to fit the story.
So mother is a feminist, she is a feminist, so plain and general. But when it is when it is my mother is a feminist, then it shows even in the title that someone, girl or boy, with mother, something is happening there, right? So we get that preempt even for the story, but at the same time, we are not giving away anything more than that.
Right.
Yeah, so I came up with that. So any other question you wish to ask, you're welcome to, because we have to.
Yeah, when I read this, I felt like although it's a short story, it's also like one chapter in like a long book. I feel that there could be something that happens before this, something that continues after this. So
super.
I don't know if you have thoughts about that, but I think this can be expanded into a bigger story.
Or most of my short stories, they have readers have said this to me, that yes, because basically, see, I do the story, I'm completing it. Most of the times it is cliffhanging, open-ended. That's how I like it, because life is always flowing, going on and on, continuing. It's never a proper happily ever after. It's not like that, right? In real life.
Correct.
That belief I have. So it is continuing. What is continuing? Let the reader imagine. But like you said, it comes. There's something happening even before. Also gives a lot of scope for imagination in the reader.
Right.
Isn't it?
Yeah. There is
instead of, for example,
backstory before that. Yeah.
For example, Dave, if I were to say he had sticky hair, black, but very dry, and about average height, average build, this, that, if I'm going to describe, yes, it may help the reader. But my readers are seasoned adults, seasoned readers who are adults. They're not even children, right? Why should I guide them to really imagine like that? Let them imagine the way they want. Yes. Why restrict their imagination by telling too much? So I believe in that kind of narration.
Okay.
So I leave a lot of scope for imagination, so that the reader is able to participate in the creativity that I went through when I was writing that. You see?
Okay.
Because like you said, you have something before to imagine. You can get something even after the story continues, right? So much, and in between also you have so much to imagine. So I think that kind of writing where so much scope for imagination is possible is a good writing, and it stays with the reader, and it makes the reader think, right? And therefore it stays with the reader. So that's how I believe. So
I think that's not easy to do, I think, in a short story, because you don't want, it's not a novel, right? It's not 20 chapters. It's like, maybe 3 pages or 5 pages long. You want to only talk about what you feel you need to, and let the reader do the rest.
Yes, and if I were to write so much, then it has to become a novel. And for me, like you said, yes, a short story is a short. That is the beauty of short story. At the same time, it's the what does it say? It's a restriction also for us that I can't write too much. But if I really want to write more, I can choose to write a novel. A short story has to be short and crisp and given in a short form, right? So that is another reason why I don't touch on too much detail. Whatever is required is enough, I believe. Otherwise, I can keep on describing, depicting the street that he was walking, what he was wearing, how he looked, how he smeared, how he smirked, And then, you
Mhm.
know, how everything, like, even mother, I can keep on describing her, how she looked and things. For this story, for the theme that I'm going to trying to convey to the reader, those things are less important compared to whatever I wants them to talk and
Mhm.
tell the
And
reader.
understand and imagination.
Yeah,
These are the kinds of uh, the flow is these kinds of short stories are what I like, because the ending is interesting. That's one thing, right? It's not like a happy ending, quote unquote. It's like it leaves the reader thinking like, what really happened, and all
yeah,
that. And
yes,
and it's crisp enough that it talks about, just focuses on the main interaction
yes,
with the son and the mom, which is the title of the story. That's the whole point. And there is like enough happening
yes.
that there is a lot of thing happening in a short space. So I think there's a lot that is being described, but in the frame of the
Within that
boundaries of a
phase.
short story. So I
Yes,
think
that's
that
right.
it's not challenging. It's pretty challenging to do, and I think it's
It
great to see
comes
that it's not a.
it comes from with practice. It comes from experience of years of experience. I'm into writing for 28 years now, and
Wow, okay.
so obviously, I know craft is my strength. So and the same story, another person can write in a different way. Like you said, yes,
Hmm.
they will give too much of unnecessary things. What happens is the attention of the reader deviates from what is actually, uh, to be focused on,
you
right?
want you want to keep them, yeah, focused,
Focused.
and
A short
yeah,
story,
right,
must do that. Short
yeah.
story must do that. Like Kafka, I think Kafka, Anton Chekhov said, if you're showing a gun, he's not saying you're telling someone is holding. He says you're showing a gun in the beginning of a short story, but by the end of the story, it has to shoot.
Make an
So
appearance.
meaning,
Chekhov's gun. Yeah.
so it should be so aligned and focused, a short story. That's how that much only the short story can give us the scope, and
Right.
that much only it is possible to do it there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for your time.
No, thank you for emailing me the story and sitting on this call, and
Sure.
trying to find a time that worked for both of us. Thank you for
Yes, yes.
taking a time out of
Thank
your
you.
schedule as well. So yes, of
Yes,
course.
most welcome. And
Yeah.
best wishes for all your job, baby, anything and
Thank you so
everything in your
much.
life. Take care. Bye.
Yes.
Thanks for
Bye. Thank
reading.
you, Jayanti.
Thanks for the
Of
time.
course. Yeah.
Bye.